Hi folks, Joe Russo here. We're going to focus on the new widget that's available. It's called the activity feed. So the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add the activity feed to our home page. So I'm going to go into Course Admin, Home Pages, and then I'm going to select to customize a home page. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to add an activity feed widget, and there it is. And for the sake of this demonstration, I'm just going to move it above the announcements tool. All right, save and close. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the course homepage. So you'll notice now that the activity feed is here. So if you're probably wondering why activity feed versus announcements, so announcements, students have the ability to receive notifications from announcements as the announcements widget, sorry. And so the announcements tool is still very effective in communicating and bringing students back into the course should they have included a external email set up in their profile. That way, every time you're updating or posting new announcements, they'll receive that information, that sort of alert and notification. But the activity feed is different. It is still a very effective communication tool, but it's also about workflow. And so for teachers and for students, the activity feed offers you that opportunity, similar to other learning management systems or tools that host students in a space with a teacher. What you're going to do is you're going to be able to, in the activity feed, spend most of your time posting and sharing files and instructions, and students will be able to respond directly to what it is that you're posting. And basically having everything in one spot is very, very effective in terms of workflow. So for example, I'm going to create an announcement, or sorry, I'm going to create a message. And so in this message, I'm going to highlight, so I'm going to state, this is your assignment for Unit 1, okay? And so I can post a message or an assignment, and then you'll notice here I've got a lot of options. I can pick up a file from my computer, I can attach a link to an existing activity, or I can insert a web link. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly go into each one. All right, so again, this connects to your computer. Just browse your computer and upload a file. You can select to attach link to an existing activity. So this is very similar to a quick link in the announcements tool. Okay, if you've got a link that you want to share and then title it, a particular name, let's say, for example, that you have a link to EduGains, which provides a digital citizenship curriculum to secondary and elementary students and teachers. You can put in the link, but then as a title, you can call it EduGains. You also have the option, and this TCDSB students and staff are going to be very excited about, because we are now able to access Google Apps for Education or G Suite tools. So you can attach a file from your Google Drive. And so if you select your Google Drive icon here, it'll take a minute, and then it'll go directly into your Google Drive. And you'll notice that it did that for me because as a TCDSB employee, I've already logged in using my TCDSB login. But if you're at home or if you're not on a device that belongs to the school board, you may have to enter your TCDSB username and password. And I'm talking to teachers now, all right? So I'm going to hit cancel. All right. So I'm just going to pause for a minute related to the Google Drive integration. So for example, if you selected a Google Doc that you wanted to share with your students, the permissions that go along with that Google Doc or anything that you're sharing from your Google Drive will remain within the upload or the sharing within your activity feed post. So let me repeat that again. whatever permissions you've set on your Google document or slide deck or Google Sheet will remain when you link that that file or folder to your activity feed post. Okay? All right, so then we would basically post the item. Okay? And then you'll notice that there is an opportunity for anyone within your course, to add a comment. Thank you, and when is this due? And you can post. And so think about the workflow here. There's a timestamp. There's an availability for a student to come back to this activity feed post and also scan what's being shared and not have to ask the same question or follow up to a question that's already been, or a comment that's already been made. All right? And so in terms of options here as a student, I can also delete the comment or edit the comment. Okay? The last thing I'll highlight related to the activity feed, you can't set up notifications to the activity feed in your profile. I'm sure that that's coming in terms of an upgrade soon, but I am now going to remind you that there is also a connection, teachers, between the new lessons tool and the activity feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the activity feed for now. I'm going to go into content. And by going into content, I am going to be able to access the new lessons tool. So this lessons tool has been enabled for all staff. You have the option to keep it on or turn it off. It doesn't matter, okay? But if you don't keep the lessons tool on, you won't be able to do what I'm about to show you, which is connect from the lessons tool directly to the activity feed, okay? So there's a little chevron here. Again, it's not very noticeable, but if I were to select the chevron, you'll notice that it gives me the option to turn off or leave on the lessons tool. So I've left it on. I'm just going to push this window back up. Now, I'm in any unit. It doesn't really matter, but watch the option that I have here. So in terms of the ability that I have as a teacher in terms of workflow, in this particular unit, if I wanted to share something, excuse me, with the activity feed, all I have to do is select the options button here. And what I'll be able to do is I will be able to share to the activity feed. So I apologize, I'm just going to look for it here. Okay, so in terms of posting to the course homepage, you'll notice that what I do now have in terms of an option is I have the option to post to the course homepage. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select that. And there it is. So now I can actually share announcements related to what the new content is. I can even post it later. I skipped that. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to go back to the home page. Okay, we're going to wait for it to load. And there it is. So you'll notice that even though it came up as an announcement, what you've done is you shared the announcement via the activity feed. And there it is. So I shared my new content. That was the announcement. And then I've directly linked the content page for students to access from the activity feed. All right, folks? All right, so what I'm going to do, and notice it took me right to that content page. So what I'm going to do now is just quickly recap how you can access the activity feed. First and foremost, you have to add the activity feed to your homepage. Second, you have a choice to post an announcement or an assignment. And you can also link to files on your computer, files within the course, or your Google Drive. And lastly, when you're in the lessons tool, you're able to directly share an announcement on your activity feed from a particular page in the content. All right, that's pretty awesome workflow. So please consider that the only shortcoming of the activity feed right now is that there's no notifications that students can set up. However, in the announcements tool, which is this widget here, students can set up notifications to receive information related to any updates in your course to an external email. All right, and that's the activity feed tutorial, a very effective communication tool in terms of workflow for your consideration. Bye for now.